Assalamu alaikum. Sisters and brothers, we are indeed happy to see each and every one of you out this afternoon. At this time, we will turn the meeting over to the host minister. You may be seated. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful Savior, to whom we are forever thanking for our beloved leader and teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In their holy names, I greet you again, my dear beloved sisters and brothers, with the greeting of peace in the beautiful language of Arabic. Assalamu alaikum. Sisters and brothers, we are indeed happy to see each and every one of you out this afternoon to hear the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. At this time, we will turn the meeting over to the host minister, who is Minister of Muhammad's Mosque, number 27, in Los Angeles, California, Minister John S.
Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful Savior, to whom all praise is due, the Lord of all the worlds, whom we're constantly thanking for our great leader and teacher, the most honorable and humble Elijah Muhammad. Sisters and brothers, I would like to again welcome you here to the Embassy Auditorium in Los Angeles to hear the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You have come here to see a great leader. You have come to see the greatest leader that you and I have ever heard, read, or talked about. Praise is due to Allah. You have come here on a Sunday night. Most of you, or many of you, there was a time when we could say most of you, but now we can say many of you have to go to work in the morning. A year ago, if all of you had been here, perhaps more of you would have to go to work in the morning. But today, some of you that would have had to go to work in the morning this time last year, you not only don't have to go to work in the morning, but you wish you did have to go to work in the morning. Is that right or wrong? If you wish you could go to work in the morning, but you can't go to work in the morning, then you couldn't go any place tonight better than where you're sitting right now. We're happy to see you. We're happy to see that there are so many of our people that love themselves so well that if they hear that someone has something good for them, that they would come any distance just to try and hear what it is. This is something that you and I have lacked in the past. And this proves that today we're not the same people that we were 400 years ago. We're not the same people. We're not the same people that we were 100 years ago, nor 50 years ago. We're not the same people this week that we were last week. You and I have come here not to be entertained. Nobody told you that somebody was having a tough session here tonight. Nobody told you that there would be some piano plunking and there would be some dancing and there would be some chorus girls back here and there would be some singing and joke telling. Nobody told you that. So the fact that you are here means that's not what you are seeking. Is that right or wrong? Someone told you that there was a man who was in Los Angeles tonight that was going to tell you, the so-called Negro in Los Angeles, what that you could do to get out of any bad shape that you're in. And you came here tonight because you knew you were in bad shape. Is that right or wrong? If you're a beggar that's in bad shape. If you're a junk man, you're a junk man that's in bad shape. If you're a doctor that's in bad shape. If you're a lawyer, a teacher, or whatever you are, if your face is black and you live in America today, you're in bad shape. Whatever you may have been told that it would be before you got here to intelligently judge for yourself, you must admit now that that's a fact. You need something badly. And you came here tonight because you are seeking someone who can tell you how to supply that need. What need, you say? My need is not the same as everybody else's. My need is not the same as all of these people sitting in here. If you are hungry, and yet you have a beautiful house, and you have nice clothes, and I have plenty of food and nice clothes, but I don't have anywhere to live, you and I each have a problem. You need some food. I need some shelter. If both of us were given the same thing, we could solve our problem. If somebody gives you some money, you can buy some food, and if somebody gives me some money, I can buy a house. Is that right or wrong? So then, though our problems on the surface may have appeared different, when we came down to actual analysis, we had the same problem, money. Is that right? Same as the Negro in America today with all of his problems. Some of us have a problem because we're not working. Some of us have a problem because we're working and can't get promoted. Is that right or wrong? Some of us have a problem because we trained for one job and had to take another job. Or trained for a job and couldn't get a job at all. Some of us have a problem because down home they chased us out with a rope. Others have problems because up home here they chase us down the street with billy clubs. Is that right or wrong? Yet we still have a problem. They sound like different problems, but yet we find that the same one that we go to for the job and can't get it is the same one that if we got a job for him we can't get promoted, and he's the same one that chases us down home with the rope, and he's the same one that's chasing us up here with the billy club. Then our people have something in common. Then you and I know something, don't we? We may not say it, and we may push our lips out when somebody else says it, but we know it. Is that right? We're in need. If you have if your nose is running, you want somebody to show you how to stop the nose from running. If I got a headache, I want somebody to stop my headache. If my brother over here has a cough in his chest, then he's looking for somebody to stop that cough. Now, if you give my brother something for his nose, that's not going to help you. Is that right or wrong? And it's not really going to help him because it's not his nose that's running. His chest is your nose that's running. Is that right or wrong? So therefore, you and I should be looking for the right medicine according to the illness that we have. Is that right? But now suppose that you and I get together with my brother. All three of us have different things. Yet a man comes along that says, I can give you one pill, or I can give you one spoonful of medicine, and if you take this medicine, it will cure all your ills. You and I, if we don't examine what the man is saying, we might say, well, no, how can you do that? How can you cure a man's chest and a man's nose at the same time? His nose is on his head and his chest is in his thorax, and you telling me you're going to put something in his mouth to cure them both. No, you can't do that. That's what you would say. But if you examine it, and listen to the man long enough, he might be able to make you understand that what all of us have is a cold. And that if he can give us some medicine to cure the cold, he'll stop your nose from running, he'll stop my chest from hurting, stop his head from hurting, and stop his earache over here. Is that right or wrong? When he offers the medicine, you and I should what we should want to know about the medicine. We're right to question it. You shouldn't let anybody just walk up with a spoonful of so-called medicine and want to stick it in your mouth. But where the Negro in America makes his mistake is that he doesn't know how to question the doctor to find out about the medicine. Instead of him asking, will the medicine cure what's wrong with me, he wants to know is the medicine bitter or sweet. Instead of him wanting to know will the medicine get rid of what's wrong with me, with my sore throat, he wants to talk about the man next door with his broken leg. Praise is due to Allah. But if the American so-called Negro would weigh what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has to say, would examine the solution that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is offering to us. In the light of our own condition and not somebody else's condition, we would be able to intelligently say to the world whether or not he has the right solution for us. Is that right? But if we weigh it, if we are cockroaches, and we weigh a cockroach powder according to how well the housewife likes it, we're crazy. Is that right or wrong? If the housewife likes it, that means it must kill cockroaches. Is that right? But if the housewife doesn't like it, then you know that there's no danger for the cockroach. So if you are a cockroach, you shouldn't be interested in what the housewife likes or dislikes. You should be wondering about the welfare of the cockroach. Is that right or wrong? This is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has done. He's coming to you and me. You look around here tonight, and you see that everybody in this place looks like you. That's why I say, if some of you had known that, you wouldn't have come here. But you're here now. That's right. Although I doubt very seriously if you could ever find a meeting in Los Angeles where you have a huge Japanese population, if you would ever find one Japanese in Los Angeles that would stay away from a meeting of Japanese just because he thought that there would be nothing there but Japanese. You wouldn't find one. Is that right? You know that's the truth. Is that right or wrong? Anybody else? In Beverly Hills, how many times do you think that the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce refuses to meet or refuses to go to their meeting because you and I are not admitted to their meeting? Think about it. If a man is going to reject a medicine because it doesn't taste sweet to him, that man may lay there and die waiting for sugar. Because he may get sugar, and that may be just the thing it takes to kill him, or maybe nobody will ever bring the sugar to him, or the sugar-coated medicine to him. If you and I judge by taste, we can see how foolish it is by merely taking a piece of candy and a lemon, one in each hand. Now, you know whether candy is good for you or not. You know candy will rot your teeth out. You know you can't eat too much candy or you will get sick. Candy doesn't add anything to the body. It's not good for the body. It destroys the body. Is that right? Lemon is one of the best citrus fruits on the globe. Lemon is healthy. Lemon is a medicinal fruit, one that you can use to cure certain illnesses. Even from the lemon, you get the medicine that most of us in here have had called penicillin. Is that right? You know the lemon is good for you. You know the candy is bad for you. Yet, if you lick the candy and then lick the lemon, your mouth will pucker up. You don't get a pleasant sensation. Is that right or wrong? Here you've been licking on this candy, and though it's destroying you, it tasted good. So that when you change to something good for you, though your mouth puckers up, if you're intelligent, you'll keep on sucking the lemon until you get used to it. Is that right or wrong? Therefore, you and I make a grave error when we reject something that we hear of, not something we hear, but many of us have rejected the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad who have never heard it. We have gone out in the streets and said mean things, bad things, incorrect, inaccurate things, and out-and-out lies, to put it bluntly, about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what he is teaching, and yet some of us that have done that have never seen the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, never heard him, and never heard anybody teaching his teaching. Is that right? But we reject it because it sounds strange to us. It's new to us. What did we expect? Something old? If what we had already been hearing and what we had already been taught was sufficient, then we wouldn't be begging day and night. We wouldn't be running all over the country and starting pilgrimages from one end of the country to the other, kneeling down in front of hotels and kneeling down in front of government buildings begging for civil rights. Is that right or wrong? You can't tell us that has worked, or that that's the right solution, because it hasn't worked. Some of you try to show philosophical reasons that that thing is possible. But one of the greatest forms of philosophy is a thing called pragmatism. And it's something that your very nature makes you practice. If it doesn't work, junk it. Is that right or wrong? The teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad works. one, the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, no one can find one spot where they vary, one spot where they differ, one spot where there's a diversity between what he preaches and what he and his followers practice. Then that proves it works, doesn't it? Whatever it is you're about to hear tonight, that's one thing you can be assured of, that it works. And if you don't believe it works just by looking at his followers, try it for yourself, and you will stand up and say that the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad works 100%. It's not going to sound like what you've been hearing all your life. You never heard anything like it in the school. You never heard anything like it in the church. You never heard anything like it on the corner, in the bar, in the pool room. You never heard anything like it no matter where you've been. But that doesn't mean that it's not true. Just because you never heard it doesn't say it's false. There was a time when you hadn't heard that there was a Los Angeles in the state of California, or that there was a California on the west coast of America. But California didn't come into existence when you found it out. It was already here. It was you, the one that didn't know it. Is that right or wrong? According to history, there was a time when the majority of the people in this world believed that the earth was flat. Because the majority believes something, that doesn't make it true. If everybody in here decided that the sun wasn't going to come up in the morning, how many of you think we could stop the sun from coming up? Or if all of us decided that the sun didn't come up this morning, how many of us believe the sun really didn't come up? Truth is truth regardless of what you and I think about it. Is that right or wrong? If a man comes to us with a solution that historically you can prove has worked for other people, then it's worth your and my investigation. Is that right or wrong? If Mr. Muhammad presents a solution to us that proves that it would work by the country that you and I are living in, then you and I should take notice, because this country has grown to be a great and powerful nation in the earth. If this country has grown to be a great and powerful nation in the earth, and if you and I want to accomplish something, you and I should look at the principles involved in the growth and progress of this nation. Is that right or wrong? So when Mr. Muhammad presents something that may sound startling to you, search American history. Say to yourself, now this sounds strange. Let me look in the history book to see if this has a parallel. And if you look in the history book and find that the same thing that Mr. Muhammad says we must do, this nation did, then you and I should take note of it and find out how we can implement it. Is that right? We should look all over to try to find a solution for our problem. This should not have been, some of you, this is the last place you came looking for. This should not have been. This should have been the first. But before you leave here tonight, you will understand why it was the last place that you and I came looking for a solution after everything else had failed. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that our problems get solved after everything else has failed, but the solution, which is Islam. Now, if we are religious people or Bible-reading people, then we should listen and weigh the solution that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is offering to our people. Then we should look in our Bible, look in our book, in our scriptures, in our prophecies, and find out if we can find a people who were in the same condition at any time that we were. If there's anybody in the Bible that was in the same condition or a similar condition as ours, then you and I should want to know what solution did God give to that people. And if God gave a solution to that people, then you and I should weigh the solution God gave to them and weigh the solution that God gave to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Praise is due to Allah. And the last thing, the last comparison that you and I should make. We are in an uproar today. The Negro in America is sticking his chest out, proud of a land that a few years ago he was ashamed of. The Negro today will brag about Africa. And a few years ago, if you called him an African, he wanted to fight you. Is that right? A few years ago, if you and I went to a movie and saw a bunch of Africans chasing a white hunter through the jungle, we would root against the Africans. Is that right? Right. We had a different picture of Africa. Today, we're proud of Africa. Why are we proud of Africa? Because Africa is becoming independent. The countries of Africa, one by one, are becoming independent nations, supporting and doing things for themselves. Is that right? What method is being used to free Africa? What is the catalyst? What is the force that is causing Africa to stir? If you and I can see that, you and I may be able to see in what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching that is the solution to your and my problem. You and I are proud of the African because the African looks just like us. Is that right? That's why we're proud of them. Because when we look at the African, it's just like looking in the mirror. And if you look in the mirror, you can tell whether your tie is on straight or not. Is that right? You see your own image in that mirror. And if you look in the mirror and see the tie crooked on the image, you know your tie is not straight. There's no way that the tie on that image can be crooked and your tie be straight. Because that's your image, it looks just like you. Is that right? Now, if you one day stick your right hand out towards the image, or stick your hand out towards the mirror, and you see the image stick his hand out backwards, you know something's wrong. If you see the image scratch its head, and you think you're going to scratch your head and wind up tickling your foot, you know something's wrong with your sense of direction. Is that right or wrong? So what you and I should do today is notice the progress of Africa and notice our struggle for progress and find out what is it that's in Africa's struggle that is making Africa advance more rapidly than you and I. What ingredient is missing from our struggle that Africa has in her struggle? And when you do that, you listen to the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you'll find that he is the only leader that has ever come to you and me and supplied the missing ingredient. Praise is due to Allah. So brothers and sisters, I don't have the ingredient. I'm up here to welcome you and to look in all of your faces, because I like looking in the mirror too. That's right. Everybody thinks they're cute. When I look at you, I see myself. So I like to look at you. So I hope that you are relaxed and that your mind is open, above all. You may say, well, I want to close it because I heard you all were teaching something bad and I don't want anything bad to get in. If you close the thought up, not only won't something bad get in, nothing good can get in. Is that right or wrong? So now, if you're thirsty and don't have any water and you're out on the desert and it starts raining, if you waste time worrying about how dirty the water is that's coming down, you'll die of thirst. But if you get that pot and take the lid off of it and catch the water, you can take the dirt out later. Is that right or wrong? So let us have open minds. Let us have open minds. Don't have preconceived notions about what you haven't even heard yet. Don't let someone who is not qualified to tell you what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching direct your opinion of the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You just wouldn't go to a football player to learn how to drive a bus. Is that right? Then if you want to know what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching, then here's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his ministers all over the country. Is that right? And tonight, brothers and sisters, we want you to listen very intently, because many of you have seen the headlines and the pictures and the television shows concerning the press conference that Mr. Muhammad had the other day. And that you saw on television was earth-shaking. That you heard in the newspapers, or read in the newspapers, was earth-shaking. But there was some that was said that you didn't hear or see in a place that was so earth-shaking they didn't want you to hear or see it. But tonight, what you will hear will be more earth-shaking, or even more than earth-shaking. It will be Mars-shaking and Pluto-shaking and Neptune-shaking as well. All praise is due to Allah. So brothers and sisters, we don't want to keep you here too long, so we want to move right along with the program. And at this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to another of Mr. Muhammad's ministers. He's come 3,000 miles. He's what every good follower is to a good leader. That is, wherever the leader goes, the follower is not far behind. He's come 3,000 miles to accompany this great man, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And this devoted minister, we would like for him to come forth at this time and speak to you. I present to you the minister of the largest mosque in America today, Muhammad's Mosque, number 7 in New York City, whom all of you have read about, Minister Malcolm Shabazz.
Minister Malcolm Shabazz.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You did a good job. Now I'm on the spot.
Salaam alaikum.
How are all of my brothers and sisters?
That's very good. In the name of Allah, the all-wise, true, and living God. Not a living God, not a dead God, but a living God. The one to whom all praise is due. The Lord of all the worlds, whom we forever thank for giving us here in America our beloved leader and teacher, the most honorable and humble Elijah Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, many of you are here this evening, having traveled a long way. Some of you are short distance and many from a long distance. I saw some here today from San Francisco, which I imagine is a long ways away, and also Fresno and other places. I even saw some from Mississippi. I know that's a long ways away. But we do know that those of you who have come from near, as well as those who have come from far, have traveled primarily to see and hear the man whom the entire world is talking about and writing about today, our beloved leader and teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Many of you who have been listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad here in Los Angeles every Sunday night on radio station KALI, I think it's every Sunday night at 10 o'clock here, isn't it? Right. On station KALI, he'll also be on there tonight. You've noticed that he has had a severe cold, cough recently, and he has had this since the convention that we had in February in Chicago. And since the convention, he has been trying to find a chance to get away and get a little rest, vacation from his heavy duties, so that he can throw this cough or cold off. But despite the physical handicaps that he has been undergoing, last week he agreed to come here to California. He has been continuing his radio broadcasts each week. But despite this, he accepted the speaking engagement here on the West Coast, because of which many of you saw him Saturday or Friday night on the television. He conducted a 2-hour press conference Friday. The entire press was there, at least all of the white press was there. I didn't see any of the Negro press, but the white press was there. And I would like to say right here that one of the mistakes the Negro press makes and has been making has been sitting in your office waiting for the white man to write something about black people in his paper, and then you pick up his paper and rewrite it in your paper. The crime that you commit is, as a Negro reporter, when you rewrite what the white man has said about your own kind, you don't have intelligence enough to separate the truth from the falsehood. And then you wonder why the so-called Negroes refuse to buy the so-called Negro paper. They are tired of seeing you parrot what the white man says about all of the ills and immorality that exists in our community and in our neighborhood. But here in Los Angeles, thanks to Allah, you have a good black newspaper known as the Los Angeles Herald-Dispatch. In fact, it's so black that some of you can't even take it. But we thank Allah for the Los Angeles Herald-Dispatch, because of its uncompromising stand on the side of truth and in the struggle against those who have inflicted oppression against our people here for a long time. And I think that no one is more aware of the good work that the Los Angeles Herald-Dispatch is doing than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is. It's one of the Los Angeles Herald-Dispatch has become one of the most respected and feared black newspapers in North America. In fact, I should say it's one of the only black newspapers in North America, because most of the others have allowed themselves to fall under the control of the white man. I know that there may be some representatives here from the local Negro press, and I'm not biting my tongue in what I say, because anyone can pick up your paper and tell by its contents that you're not writing to please black people, you're writing to please white people. Well, black people are tired of that. The black bourgeoisie, who has a long time been able to read and write, they don't buy your paper anyway. They don't want to be seen with it because they have become too white-minded. So you waste your time trying to write to please them, and the black masses whom you should be trying to please and who would buy your paper, they are fed up with your misrepresenting them, not only to the local public, but to the public all over the world today. I hope that's understood. I don't know how we got on that, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, besides being scheduled to meet the press Friday, was also scheduled to meet the Negro church leaders on Saturday. They didn't show up. So, since they didn't show up, then perhaps some of them are here now, and we'll have a chance to talk to you in a few moments, all together. In fact, it's better to talk to a Negro preacher in front, and when I say preacher, I say Negro, I don't say so-called Negro. It's better to talk to a Negro preacher all praise is due to Allah. It's better to talk to a Negro preacher in front of his congregation rather than in the corner somewhere. Because most Negro preachers will talk with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad behind the door and agree with everything he says. Won't fight him at all. But then they'll come in their church and try and tell you that Mr. Muhammad is wrong. We're tired of that. So we hope that tonight you have come out and we can get some of these things straightened out. Also, this morning, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was scheduled to meet with the business leaders of when I say the so-called Negro business leaders of the Los Angeles community. His reason for meeting the press first was to let the world know exactly what he stands for, which he did. The reason that he was scheduled to meet the Negro preachers was because the black people here in America are in worse condition than any people have been anywhere since the beginning of time. Despite the progress that you have been told you are making, you're still the last one hired and the first one fired. They'll take one little handkerchief-head Negro from your community and give him a great big job, make him the attorney general or the governor's assistant or the mayor's butler or something like that, and then that Negro will turn around and tell you that the white man has changed and that things are getting better. And here he's got a job, he's getting fat and greasy, and you're still the last one hired and the first one fired. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met the press to let the world know what his program is. He scheduled a meeting with the Negro church leaders because they have more influence over our people than anyone else. Anytime a man hit, anytime you can be hungry and naked with no decent house to live in, and you will stand up and let someone tell you to suffer now because later on, by and by, in the sky, you're dealing with a very influential man. Anytime you can, you will allow yourself to suffer the pangs of hunger now and be satisfied because some collar-wearing backward man is going to tell you that you will get your fill after you die up in the sky somewhere, I say that man has a lot of influence over your weak mind. I don't want you to think I'm here to ridicule you or insult you, but I know you came out here to listen to the truth. Now, if it's truth you want, you can remain. But if you don't think you can take any more truth than has been said, it's best that you leave right now. Because there are other people outside lined up waiting for your seat. Do you understand that? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad scheduled the meeting with the Negro preachers because he wanted to talk with them. He didn't want a division, he wanted unity. So he asked them to come out where he could sit down and talk with them. He would understand them and they would understand him. And then they could all get up and fight a common battle against a common enemy for the good of a common people. The Negro preachers didn't show up. He scheduled a meeting with the Negro business leaders because he has realized the importance of the so-called Negro business leader in our community. When we have a community, number one, we constitute here in America, according to the government economists, a people whose purchasing power is $20 billion a year. And anytime you have 20 million black people whose purchasing power or earning power is $20 billion a year, you can't even hardly imagine what $1 million is, much less $1 billion. $20 billion a year. Yet they remain the last hired and the first fired. This shows you that individually these people probably are poor, but collectively they are a wealthy people. And despite this mass of collective wealth, still the black people here in America individually suffer the worst form of poverty faced any people since the beginning of time. What happens to these billions of dollars that come through your fingers? It goes right through your fingers. And no man dares to tell you where it goes other than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He will tell you where it goes, and then after you see where it's going, it's up to you to plug up the leak. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted to speak and discuss with the so-called Negro business leaders because he wanted to teach them how to go about getting the recognition, the respect, and the sympathy of the black people in the black community. The average black businessman doesn't know how to get the sympathy and the friendship of his own people who live in his own neighborhood. And because of that, the average black businessman will go into business, and because he doesn't know how to go about getting our people to patronize him, when they don't do it, he ends up their enemy. He ends up an enemy to his own people, and they end up his enemy. There's a gap that has been created among the black businessman and the potential black customer. And the only one who can eliminate that gap here in America today is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it was through Mr. S. Alexander, the publisher of the Los Angeles Herald-Dispatch, that the meeting with the so-called Negro press and the white press was set up. It was also through the good offices of Mr. S. Alexander that the meeting with the Negro preachers was set up. And it was also through the good offices of Mr. S. Alexander of the Herald Dispatch that the meeting with the leaders of the economic business community here in Los Angeles was set up. Some of the business leaders came and some of them didn't. More of them came, though, than the Negro preachers. The Negro preachers were somewhere else. And if you keep following them, you'll be somewhere else. You may think I'm casting slurs at the clergy. Well, I'm right in saying this. He's telling you something about somewhere else. He's not, Negro preacher isn't telling you how to put a pot on your stove with some food in it. He's not telling you how to put a roof over your head that doesn't leak. He's not talking any of that kind of talk. He's telling you about some kind of action that's supposed to take place after you're dead. Well, that's not, wait a minute, that's somewhere else, brother. And that's some other time. And actually it's for some other person. He's not taking a stand against your enemy. The Negro preacher isn't telling you that you're being knocked down and dragged and hung and oppressed and exploited. He doesn't go into your suffering. He tells you about how somebody suffered 2,000 years ago. Or he'll tell you how somebody suffered in Egypt 4,000 years ago. Or he'll tell you how wicked the people were in Sodom and Gomorrah 5,000 years ago. But when it comes to dealing with this suffering and this wickedness right now, he starts, that's hate teaching. But brothers and sisters, you're intelligent. Why is it right for the Negro preacher to preach against the cruelty of Pharaoh, who was a slave master, and preach against the cruelty of Nebuchadnezzar, who was also a slave master? But at the same time, he says it's wrong when you point out the cruelty of this modern-day slave master. Why is it right for the Negro preacher to get in his church and tell you about the enslavement of the Hebrews in the land of Egypt, and the enslavement and oppression of the Hebrews in the land of Babylon? But when you begin to talk about the enslavement of the black people in America today, that's hate teaching. If it's not hate teaching against Pharaoh, and it's not hate teaching against Nebuchadnezzar, then it's not hate teaching today against this modern Pharaoh and this modern Nebuchadnezzar. All praise is due to Allah. I have to tell you this, that it was because of the severe cough, bronchitis condition of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that he himself didn't attend the meeting for the Negro preachers Saturday. He knew they weren't coming. And I had to substitute for him, and also this morning. And tonight, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad will not be here. And it's his greatest desire to be with you this evening, but because of his physical condition, it is absolutely an impossibility for him to be here this evening. I regret having to tell you this, but he has given me something to tell you myself in his behalf, and it's my intention to tell you if you can take it. Can you take it? Perhaps I should point out that you probably don't realize the value of a man like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You have to realize his value. Without him, we don't have a leader. Without him, we don't have a teacher. Without him, we don't have a champion. He's the only one who will stand up and call a spade a spade. He's the only one who will not turn his back in the face of the enemy. He's the only one that will tell it to you naked and bare, not caring what the enemy thinks or what his attitude or reaction is. This is the kind of man that you need as a spokesman for you today. You don't want somebody walking up to the man with his hat in his hand. You don't want somebody walking up to the man afraid to open up his mouth and tell the man how you feel. You don't want somebody that's going to tell you how the Hebrews suffered in the land of Egypt and the Hebrews suffered in the land of Babylon, and he was afraid to tell the white man today that these black people here are tired of suffering in this day and time. The number one thing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that we must have today is unity among our own kind. This was his purpose for calling the Negro preachers together. This was his purpose for setting up the meeting with the leaders of the so-called Negro business community. And this also was his purpose for having a desire to come and speak to you and me here this evening, to let me and you know that today we must have unity among our own kind. And with the unity of all factions, we can successfully achieve any aim that our heart desires. We have to have unity. It doesn't make any difference whether you're a Baptist or a Methodist or a Catholic, a Holy Roller, don't care what you are. You're still catching hell. And you're not catching hell because you're a black Catholic. You're not catching hell because you're a black Baptist. You're not catching hell because you're a black sanctified. You're catching hell because you're black. So see, if you can't get together on the basis of religion, you should be able to get together on the basis of catching hell. Even though you have not been able to pray together, even though you have not been able to walk together or talk together, you must realize that we have all caught hell together. We have suffering in common. We have oppression in common. We have exploitation in common. We have second-class citizenship in common. We have the first hired and last fired in common. All of these things we have in common. So we must come together today on the basis of that which we have in common. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, and we heard him yesterday, you heard him yesterday on the television, demanding a country for his people. He wasn't begging for some land. He was telling the man what we need, and telling the man what we want, and telling the man what we must have or else. Or else what? That's what the man wants to know. You heard him demanding a country for his people. I was there. I saw this room full of reporters, white reporters, and as he stated his demands, they weren't hurt. They weren't indignant. They weren't angry, because they recognized the justness in his demands. They know that you have worked 310 years for nothing. They know that they never paid you one dime. They know that you have never been intelligent enough to realize it. And they know that you have never been brave enough to tell them that you realize it if you did. But you know yourself, brothers and sisters, and we're all brothers and sisters. Everybody in here looks alike. We're related. We're relatives. Those who don't look like us aren't allowed in here tonight. Do you understand? This doesn't mean we're practicing segregation. This is what you call separation. There's a lot of difference. Many of you all think that Mr. Muhammad is advocating segregation. He is not advocating segregation. He's advocating separation. Well, what is the difference? As he explained on the television, and as he also told the reporters, the difference is this. Segregation is something that is enforced by a superior upon an inferior. Separation is something that is done voluntarily by two equals. What do we mean? If you can't see it, you know yourself that when you're growing up in your father's home, you're an inferior. Your father tells you what to do. Why? He's your superior. He has authority over you, and he exercises that authority over you. He tells you what you can do and what you can't do. Is that right or wrong? But after you become of age and you think that you're a man, you move. You want a house of your own. You want a wife of your own. Your mother used to cook for you, but now you want your own woman who can cook for you. Is that right or wrong? Your father used to tell you what to do, but now you're a man. So you want a house of your own that you can live in and do as you please. When you were in your father's house, you had to please your father. But when you go out and set up housekeeping for yourself, you don't have to please anybody but yourself, your wife, your children, and your own kind. Is that right or wrong? Hold it. This is the difference between separation and segregation. Well, if you are independent, you can separate yourself from your master. But if you are dependent, you have to stay in your master's house. But if you are the equal of your master, you can leave your master's house and set up a house of your own. Do you understand this? We don't talk the segregation talk, but we feel that what the white man has done for himself, the black man can do for himself. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that when you find so-called Negroes that tell you that they cannot live without the white man, then they are not equal with the white man. They are not the equal of the white man. If you are his equal, you can live without him. Why? Equality means you must have over here what you have over here. You both have the same thing. That's equality. Equality isn't for someone to recognize you while you're still poor. Equality isn't when Henry Ford tells you, you're all right with me. That's not equality. Why, Ford got a factory, brother. You're not equality until you got your own factory, just like Henry. I hope you understand. So when you hear us, those of us who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, talk about separation, we're not talking about segregation. Segregation is what the white man has done to you. And you're separated right now. But the form of separation you have experienced has been a segregated separation. Your master has segregated you. What is Watts? That's separation. What is Central Avenue? That's separation. Why don't you get nerve enough to accuse Muslims of talking separation when you're already separated from the white man? You're already separated. You have a separate economy. Your economy depends on his. You got a separate religion. Your religion depends on his. Is that right or wrong? Sure, that's right. You go into China and find a Chinaman that believes in Jesus and ask him to paint a picture, he'll paint Jesus looking like a Chinaman. You go up to Alaska and find an Eskimo that believes in Jesus and ask him to paint a picture of Jesus, he'll paint a picture of Jesus looking like an Eskimo. You come back here to America and find a white man that believes in Jesus, he'll paint Jesus looking like a white man. Go inside a Negro church who believes in Jesus and ask them to paint a picture of Jesus, they'll paint a picture of Jesus looking like the white man. That's what you call integration. Well, that kind of integration don't move us, brother. Not nowadays. It was all right for grandma, because she didn't know an A from a B. But you call yourself educated today. You call yourself having gone to school and gotten what we say, your boots laced. And you come out and still have to get your boots from your master. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that the leaders, our leaders, have never asked for anything for our people. Asking a man for recognition, that's not anything. Recognize me as your, how in the world are you going to be recognized by this man as his equal when you got nothing, brother? Just face that fact right there. You need something. But look here, you know what they call, there's such a thing they call equalizer. I saw a cowboy movie on the TV one night, and each one had their equalizers on their hips. He had one, the other man had one. They were equal. this man couldn't get back with this man because that man had the same thing he had. That's what you call equality. Why, Russia and America are equal because Russia got bombs and America got bombs. The only reason Russia don't drop rockets over here because America got some rockets she can drop over there. That's what you call equality. Now, if the white man will come in your neighborhood with a rope, and you stand there with your knees knocking. Why? Because you don't have a rope of your own. If he's got a rope, then you need a rope. That's equality. If he lynches, then you need to learn the art of lynching. That's equality. You say, why, man, you should be arrested. No. If the government hasn't stopped lynching, then the government should either be arrested or allow us to stop it. If the government can't stop it, then let us stop it. They already call us Black Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan is a white organization that stands up for the rights of white people. We are a black nation that stands up for the rights of black people. The Ku Klux Klan demands everyone respect white women. The Muslims demand that everyone respects black women. What you talking about? Nothing wrong with that. That's equality. You need a lesson in what equality is. Your leaders have never demanded anything for you. Recognition as a ninth-class citizen is not anything. When they tell you that you're second-class citizens, brothers and sisters, that should open your eyes, but it doesn't. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that there's no such thing as second-class citizenship. You're either a citizen or you're not a citizen. And find me another country on this earth that has such a terminology as second-class citizenship. There's no such thing. It's only a tricky term for one who is not a citizen, but whom you don't want to insult or hurt his feelings by telling him he's not a citizen. So you very diplomatically tell him that he's a second-class citizen, which doesn't exist. Do you understand? Second-class citizen is a man who doesn't have civil rights. What are civil rights? Citizenship. If he doesn't have civil rights, he doesn't have citizenship. So all of that speaks for itself. The very fact that you have to go to the United States Senate and Congress and President and hope that they will come in and pass legislation to put you in line for citizenship is admission on their part that you now don't have it. But you're too modern sometime to see that second-class citizenship is just another 20th century word for slavery. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not asking the government for recognition here as citizens. He's not asking the government to recognize us as citizens equal with them. Why? He knows the government can't do it. The government can promise, but the government cannot make you a first-class citizen. If every senator and every congressman and the president and the Supreme Court agreed, they still couldn't do it. It's not written in the books that the black man here in America will ever be a first-class citizen in this country. How can we prove that? Easily. Look at you. You're the best proof. You have been the best servant. Number one, first, you were the most faithful slave any government ever had until 100 years ago. Since then, you have been a willing servant. You have served your master faithfully and willingly during peacetime. You have gone abroad and fought for your master bravely during wartime. And you have come back home and been hung on your master's tree by your master. Is this hate teaching? This is truth. Well, you can't deny it. You were a hero in Korea. Well, you charged the hill in the face of the enemy for your master. You weren't even an officer. The officer was white. He said, charge, boy, and you charge. And you charge. Just like a man says, stick 'em to his dog. And that dog jump on a lion, jump on a tiger, jump on an elephant, because his master has trained him to be a soldier, a watchdog for his master. Is that right or wrong? Understand this. A dog can't whip a lion. A dog can't whip a tiger. A dog can't whip an elephant. Yet you can take that dog and train him, and he'll jump on an elephant. He'll even bite another dog. Is that right or wrong? Same way with you. The same way with you. You have been trained by your master. You're not a soldier. You're a watchdog. He says sick 'em, you end up in Korea. He says sick 'em, you end up in Germany. You come back here and hear your mother crying out. Some white man is ravishing her in Mississippi. And you stand there with your knees knocking saying, what should I do, boss? What did you do in Korea? What did you do in Germany? What have you done for your boss? If it was right to fight for your boss, it should be right to fight for your mother. If you weren't committing nonviolence on the battlefields of Korea, if you weren't classified as violent, they didn't talk violence to you over there. They made you violent against their enemy. But as soon as you come back home and start talking about it's time for us to stop this lynching, they accuse you of being a violence teacher. Well, what about these crackers, brother, that are hanging black people from one end of the country to the other? Not only with a rope, but with police clubs. All kinds of brutality against the black man. This is violence. But you never see your press accuse them of violence. It's only when you begin to say it's time for us to take a stand. And I'm here to tell you, beloved brothers and sisters, it's time for us to take a stand. There's nothing wrong with that. If the government can't stop lynching, then the government cannot blame you for defending yourself. That's the law of justice. You may say, well, is it right for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to ask for some land? Will he get it? Does he deserve it? Has the Negro in America here earned it? I say again, you collect the wages of everyone in this audience for 1 week. The salary of everyone here, there's a couple thousand people here. Just pick up the wages that's earned by each and every person. You got some money. They all by themselves don't have much. But when you get that bag full, you got a lot. If you do that for a year, you're automatically a rich man. Well, if you see that, what do you think about a country that held back the wages of millions of black people, not for a year, but for 310 years? 310 years you work like a horse, like a cow, like an ass, for not one day's wage. All of the wages that would have been paid to you was stored up, was stocked up, stacked up at Fort Knox. When you see that, you can see automatically America had to become the richest country faster than any other country in the course of history. Her wealth, her entire economy was based upon the sweat and the blood and the life of your and my grandmother and your and my grandfather for 310 years. If the United States government will appropriate money to pay the Indians, which they are doing and have done, for the land that they took from the Indians, what is that? This proves that the government, the present white generation, recognizes that they are responsible for the debt incurred by the former generation of whites against the former generation of Indians. This generation of whites recognize the fact that they are responsible for the debt of their forefathers. This America is an estate, and before the present generation of whites can spend the money that they have inherited from the former generation, they must realize that they also inherited the debts set up by the former generation of whites that must be paid. Now, the question is this: will the white man pay it on his own, willingly, or will God have to step in? When a man won't pay his debt, you take him before the judge. Is that right or wrong? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not asking for some land for Muslims. He's not asking for some land for just his followers. He's asking for some land for the entire 20 million so-called Negro. You may say, well, if you all don't like it here, why don't you leave? We know what you say because we've been listening to you for a long time. Plus, you're a parent. Usually you say what boss has taught you. You don't think up anything on your own. Not when you're dealing with one of your own kind. You may say, well, if you all don't like it here, why don't you go? The Muslims can go. We have countries to go to. The reason the government, again, puts out its propaganda that we're not Muslims, we're not recognized in the Muslim world. They want you to think we got no place to go. But I myself was in the Muslim world last year, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his two sons were in the Muslim world last year. I was in the Sudan, in Egypt, in Arabia, in Ghana, in Nigeria, and in other parts of Africa. And you can go into any of those places over there today when you're a Muslim. When you're a Muslim, automatically you got a home. But now you may say, well, since you all got a home abroad, why don't you go there? We're not interested in ourselves. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us he's interested in every one of the 20 million black people. He's not interested in just a home for Muslims. He's interested in collecting the debt owed to every one of the black people here in America. Understand? So he has taught us that in his efforts to try and get our people united, in his efforts to try and elevate our people morally and otherwise, instead of the government help, instead of him receiving the help and the cooperation of the government, he gets hindrance. They hinder him. Whenever they find you are receptive to what Mr. Muhammad is saying, they come around and try and harass you, try and threaten you, try and frighten you. Y'all scare easy, you know. Right? You're scared. So all you got to do is look out the door and see blue eyes, and your knees start knocking. So since the government has proven by its harassment and its propaganda against us, you can see it in your prison cases, that they don't want our people to unite with a man who is trying to get us to leave here. And since the government also admits by its own actions that it is powerless to give you and me freedom, justice, and equality here among them, since they don't want us to go, and they can't give us justice here in their midst, and we're not willing to wait another 1,000 years until they change their attitude, then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says the only solution, if we can't go and got to stay here, we don't want to be a servant any longer, so let us separate right here on this land and have some land of our own. Please understand, I'm not appealing to your emotion, but your reason, your intelligence. Don't you know that if the white man, doesn't want us to pack our grips and leave him. And he doesn't. He's afraid you might get back home and start remembering what happened to you over here. He can't take a chance. You don't think that you'll get like that. Long as you're sitting in a whiskey house drunk, brother, you can't see anything but that whiskey. But when you leave that saloon and start to sober up, you can't even stand the smell of that which formerly intoxicated you. If you can see with your intelligence that it's impossible for us to leave, and it's also impossible for us to stay as other than a servant, are you willing to remain a servant? And if you think that integration will solve it, Thurgood Marshall himself has admitted that it is 7 years since the Supreme Court desegregation decision, and here in America you still have only 6% desegregation. You can't tell me because 2 black students are going to the University of Georgia that that's integration. Well, you got 1 million black people in Georgia. You can't tell me that 4 little black children in the white school system of New Orleans, Louisiana is integration. You can't tell me that a handful of black children going to school with white people in Little Rock, Arkansas is integration. That's token integration. And what is a token? If you go outside and get on the streetcar, you put a token in the box. That token takes the place of money. Token is a substitute. Token is artificial. Token is not the real thing. And when the white man gives you token integration, it's like a pacifier that you give to your little baby when it starts crying. You pacify that little black baby to keep it from crying, but you don't give it milk. You give it a substitute. You give it what looks like milk. Do you understand that? So now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has shown us where the white man here in America is doing the same thing right now with the black man. He's giving you and me a token form of integration. And this token integration automatically already is meeting with rebelliousness from white people. They don't even want token integration. They turn Little Rock upside down to keep out token integration. They turn Georgia University upside down to keep out token integration. While the white women went crazy in New Orleans, Louisiana, over token integration. What do you think they would do if a black man had nerve enough to stand up and ask for the real thing? Why, that white man would go crazy sure enough. So since the white man knows that we can never have integration, and the black man is waking up and beginning to realize it, and it will take, as according to Thurgood Marshall, if they've only had 6% in 7 years, at that rate it'll take another 1,000 years to get just desegregation in the schools. Well, if it's going to, are you satisfied to sit around and wait for the white man to make up his mind that you're a human being also? If you are, then you are known as a 20th century Uncle Tom. You don't have a red handkerchief right around your head. You got a white handkerchief inside your head. All wrapped up around your brain. So I cite these things, brothers and sisters. We have a few minutes longer, then we're going to let you ask questions on anything that has been said for about 15 minutes. So you won't say we're prejudiced and that we're not giving you justice. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that if our people understand the time, and if your leaders actually understood Mr. Muhammad's actual aim, 99% of our people would be with Mr. Muhammad. And I would say this too, that if the so-called Negro leaders would tell you in public the same thing that they tell me in private, we'd all be in unity. But usually they are different type leaders in public than they are in private. You don't have hardly a Negro leader in America who will get behind the door and tell Mr. Muhammad he's wrong. Right. They'll shake his hand every time. Some of the worst Uncle Toms you have on the radio and everywhere else who attacked him, you should hear them. I was in a debate at Harvard recently, Harvard College in Boston, Harvard Law School Forum, about 3 weeks ago on Friday night. It was an NAACP debate and a Muslim. And the subject was the American Negro problems and solutions. And so we presented Mr. Muhammad's solution. Everybody already know the problem. And the NAACP presented, they didn't even present an NAACP solution. All they did was spend all of their time knocking the Muslims program. Why, in one white editor said to another person, he made a remark to another person, now here the Muslims came in and actually put forth a solution, whether it was agreed with or not, it was set forth. And not one time did they attack the NAACP. But when the NAACP came forth, their entire time was spent maligning the Muslims. And even though they were maligning the Muslims still didn't jump on it. As the paper said yesterday, Mr. Muhammad didn't have anything to say against the NAACP. The white reporters were shocked, because as much as the different NAACP leaders have allowed themselves to open up, have allowed their master, puppeteer, to maneuver them into attacking the Muslims, still the Muslims have refrained from attacking the NAACP, and only when it takes place is in self-defense. And this man spent his entire night doing the same thing. Well, we are not going to allow ourselves to be sidetracked fighting the NAACP, or fighting the Corps, or fighting the Urban League, or these other organizations who are headed by white people. We're not going to take time to fight them, but we do feel that when you have black organizations, they should have black leaders. An organization, for instance, like the NAACP, which is fighting for the advancement of colored people, it has had 50 presidents, or rather it has elected president 50 times. It's been in existence, I think, 51 years this year. And every year they elect a different president. But every president that has ever been elected by the NAACP in 51 years has been a white man. That's something to think about. A lot of people think Roy Wilkins is the president. No, he's the front man. When you it's just like Charlie McCarthy and Edgar Bergen. A lot of people never heard of Edgar Bergen. All they heard about is Charlie McCarthy. But I'm not Charlie talking. That's Ed talking. And you know yourself that any secretary takes his instructions from the president. And the national president of the NAACP is a white man today named Spingarn. Spingarn has been president for 21 years. Why, and they elect him every year. Now, I'm not saying that this is wrong, but since the NAACP is an integration organization, and integration means something for everybody, why, I think in 50 years they should have found some Negro in there intelligent enough to become president. Now, maybe they haven't. Maybe there's no Negro in there intelligent enough to be the president. Now, we won't question that. But then if there is no Negro in the national organization of the Association for the Advancement of Colored People who is qualified to be the national president, then the NAACP has failed to cultivate leadership among our people. And if integration means that when you come together in mixing, that the white man will always be on top, then you can have integration. But why the leading organizations fighting for integration today, besides the NAACP, is the Urban League, and the Urban is supposed to be a black organization, but it has a white president too. The Corps, same thing. Every time you have an integrated organization, the white man always ends up on top of it. So I'm suspicious. I'm cautious. And this is why they accuse, I guess, Mr. Muhammad of teaching black supremacy. He says black people should be on top once in a while, too. I would like to point out, too, brothers and sisters, that it's just not intelligent for a black body to have a white head. Doesn't look right. When you look in the mirror and you see little white heads, you squeeze them. You get them away from them. And if a white man look in the mirror and see black heads, he squeezes them. They just don't go together. Black goes with black and white goes with white. When you see a black body, it should have a black head. And when you see a white body, it always has a white head. When Mexicans have an organization, they have a Mexican as the president. When Chinese have organizations, they have a Chinaman as the president. Japanese set up an organization, they set up a Japanese as his president.
Jews set up an organization, they set up a Jew as a president. A Jew don't even get a Christian to be the president. Now here you are, a black man with a white president. You wonder why you're walking backwards. So, beloved brothers and sisters, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was, if the leaders of our people are afraid to stick their neck out, then all we ask is that they get behind the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, let him stick his neck out. He'll take all the risks, brave all the dangers. All he asks, get behind him in a show of unity. If you can't agree with him, don't say anything. Don't open up your mouth at all. Don't say anything. When the white man says, oh, don't all those people believe it, don't you jump up and say, well, boss, Negroes don't believe in that. Don't be an apologist for black people. You don't find white people apologizing for white people, what white people do to you. Well, don't you become an apologist. If you're a leader, lead your people. Don't apologize for your people. When those so-called Negroes in New York turned the UN United Nations upside down, and they turned it upside down, it wasn't us. We got blamed for it. We don't mind. But it wasn't us. It wasn't the Muslims. They give Muslims credit for everything, even things we don't do. First thing the white man did, he ran to Roy Wilkins, and he ran to Ralph Bunch, and he ran to all the Negro big shots and pumped them full, and then they stepped before the public and the microphone and the television lights and says, this is a disgrace. This does not represent the thinking or the feeling of the Negro community. How do they know what represents the thinking and the feeling of the Negro? They don't even live in a Negro community. You want to get Roy Wilkins on the telephone right now? Call the world off that story. You want to reach Ralph Bunch? Call the world off that story. You want to reach any one of these Negroes who are supposed to be your spokesman. The place don't look for them is in Harlem. I've never seen them in Harlem. Most of them don't dare to come to Harlem. And I don't say this to knock them, but this is facts. They don't deny it. Most of their work is in the white neighborhood. Most of the audience that they speak before are white audiences. They very seldom ever come to speak to what you call a black audience. They speak to integrated audiences. And more white people are talking integration than black people. So whenever you have an integrated thing like that, usually you have more whites than blacks. But where Muslims go, you have more blacks than whites. So we know how the people feel. You feel like keeping them out or you wouldn't be here. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, in order to implement his better program for the so-called Negroes here in America, we have to build our own economy. But with the last hired and the first one fired, which is an economic disaster. Every time employment is tough, you're out there in the breadline. As a representative of one of the labor unions here in Los Angeles was telling me today, he said that the government tells you about unemployment, but they don't, that there is 6 or 7% unemployment in the country, but what they fail to say is that 75% of that 6% is black people. You know, that's cruel, isn't it? Meaning that, think of that, if 75% of the 6% unemployed in America today are black people, brother, well, that's almost a disaster. Well, what causes this, and what is being done to correct it? In order to build our own economy in a government of white people that have perfected the very science of economics, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says we must be doubly as smart as the white man is. But in order for us to be doubly as smart, we first have to have some land or territory of our own, so we'll have something to be doubly smart on. Where the Negro businesses are concerned, many of them fail. Why? They're businessmen. They have stores. But what are they selling? What they're selling, they have purchased from the white man. They themselves have gone to the white man and purchased something to resell to you. Is that right? Everything that's in the Negro store is a resale. And he has to resell it at a price high enough to get back his investment. He can't resell it in a white neighborhood because the white man won't buy from him. Why, you can even get a bag or a suitcase and go to door and start selling. White people don't buy from you in white neighborhoods, but a white salesman can come in a black neighborhood and sell. Think of this. Go get a kit, a selling kit, and go from door to door. Why, brother and sister, a white person won't open up their door for a black salesman. That's absurd. They wouldn't think of it. But by the same token, white salesmen can knock on your door and sell you some Eskimo jackets and you never going to Alaska. Everything that the black, despite the odds that are against him in that direction, in another direction, everything the black businessman has to sell, he has to buy it, and therefore he's only acting as a salesman for the white producer and the white wholesaler. The real owner of the merchandise that the black businessman is selling is the white man. The white man is the owner. It's his goods. And he robs you when he sells it to you, and you got to turn around and rob your people to get your money back. And then you wonder why they won't come in your store. Please just understand. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that to build a sound economy for our people, we've got to produce something. We have to learn how to be producers as well as consumers. We have to produce the needs of our people. And when we become the producers of what we sell, Mr. Muhammad teaches us that we can then set the sale price ourselves instead of letting the white man set the price. When the white man is the producer, he sells it to the wholesaler. And the wholesaler sells it to you, and then you retail it. Is that how it goes? What if you produced it and sold it yourself? Then you would be eliminating the producer's price and also eliminating that middleman who is the wholesaler. And then you could sell it to your people at a low price. Do you understand what I'm saying? Think of this. The white man knows this. He knows that as long as you walk around here begging for recognition and producing nothing, you're just a recognized slave. Right now, the condition or position that 20 million black people in America are in, everything that leaves your pocket goes into the pocket of the white man. I don't say this talking against the white man. What I'm saying is just facts. You can't bring me a white lawyer that will dispute what I'm saying. He couldn't do anything but say amen, if that's what they say. So we're being robbed. But we're being robbed because we produce nothing of our own. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that we must be producers as well as consumers. If we're going to be businessmen, then we have to learn how to produce that which we're going to sell. And when you become the producers of your own commodity, you're independent. Don't you know, brothers and sisters, if you're in business, I don't care if you got $1 million business, and you're not producing anything, you're just selling, you're still just a rich Negro. You're not a free Negro, you're a rich Negro, a rich slave. If you're selling cars, you can't sell the car without getting it from the white man. You just a salesman for the white man. If you got a department store and selling clothes and you're not manufacturing and producing your own clothes, you're just a salesman still for the white man that's making those clothes. And these are facts that may sound cruel, but yet they're facts. I don't care how wealthy you are. If you're not producing, you're still a slave for your master. You're just a wealthy slave. They got rich slaves and poor slaves. They got educated slaves and dumb slaves. They got alley slaves and they got boulevard slaves. Isn't that right? I have to clarify these things so you'll understand. Back before Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, they had different types of Negroes. As Minister John has pointed out so beautifully, they have, and also E. Franklin Frazier in his book, The Black Bourgeoisie, he illustrates it beautifully. And I would advise any of you who haven't read this book, Black Bourgeoisie, to get it. There's a bookstore. What's the name? Where's Gordon's? Yeah, there's Gordon's bookstore on 43rd and Central. That's a black bookstore. I would never send you to a white bookstore. You want a black book, go in a black bookstore. In fact, if you want a white book, go in a black bookstore. So you go in Gordon's bookstore, they're on 43rd and Central, and I think that's right. 45th, I'm sorry, 45th and Central, and ask her if she has. He slept under his master's roof. If somebody yelled house on fire, that house Negro would fight harder than the master to get the fire out. But that field Negro would be praying, Lord, let it burn. That was the difference between the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro was integrated. He was in his master's house. He wasn't nothing but a butler, but still he was in his master's house. He was a waiter, a servant, a high-class servant for his master. He talked a little better English than the field slave. The master let him learn English, not because the master loved him, but the master wanted him to know how to talk to his other white visitors who were coming to the house. He trained them a little better. The one in the field was trained to pull a plow, like a horse. But the Negro in the house was trained to be a house Negro. That's the difference. He didn't love either one of them any better. If you got a plow horse and a race horse, you don't love either one any better. You love the plow horse because it can plow, and you love the race horse because it can race. If you see a man in the barn just rubbing his horse down, that don't mean he loves horses. He loves what he can get out of that horse. You understand? He trained one to plow for him, and he trained the other one to run for him. Then he get a dog and train a dog to fight for him. He gets something else and train him to clown for him. He's a master of training. Well, he did the same way during slavery. He got all these different kind of Negroes and trained them. He had clowns on the plantation whose job it wasn't to do. His job wasn't to do nothing but make people laugh. And he was a master. He could clown, Sam, Tom, and everything. But that was his living. He was just that was his category, that was his job. Well, now, when Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, those Negroes didn't disappear. Say you have the same thing today. You have what's known as the house Negro and the field Negro. Only today, the house Negro, he lives over here in this nice neighborhood, in a nice house, but he's still his master's Negro. He's still just another, house Negro. He wants to live in his master's neighborhood. He wants to wear clothes like his master and talk like his master, work on his master's job. He'll rob you just like his master will, right? He don't want to even get around you. He get farther away from you than his master will. And on top of that, he don't want a black woman, he want a white woman. Well, back during slavery, the same thing. That house Negro had every white woman in the house. Yeah, he did. That's what he was there for. He had to do what the master couldn't do. Do you understand? And it's the same way today with these house Negroes. They like to be around white people. Why? They're after that white woman. They just get crazy when they see her. And the white man don't have sense enough to see what's happening. Why, doesn't he know that if he ever let this black man get in his neighborhood next to his woman, why, the black man been her when he wasn't in his neighborhood, you know what's going to happen after he gets into the neighborhood. Excuse me if I mess up the English language. You're not out here for an English lesson. You go on back to school if you want an English lesson. I'm out here to tell you the truth, backwards, frontwards, or upside down, however it can be done. And as far as the English language, it's not mine, so you shouldn't mind if I mess it up a little bit. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that the only way that this can be corrected is that we must have some land. That's the only solution. And the professional so-called Negro should be made to see it. that what Mr. Muhammad is teaching will help them more so than anybody else. It'll make the black masses patronize the professional of his own kind. This doesn't mean that we hate the white man, but the white man got enough white people to be his customers. He got enough white people to serve him. We served him long enough. He got enough white people to stand around him and drool. We drooled over him long enough. It's time for us to get around here and drool over some black people. And this actually eliminates all of the problems that have been created by the racial disturbances here in America. And the only one who can correct it in its highest sense is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I would like to say this in closing, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that it's better to be independent than dependent. If we follow the leadership that is recognized by the government, and I say it's recognized by the government because usually it gets government support. NAACP gets government recognition and support. In fact, Arthur Schlesinger, who was one of President Kennedy's top advisors, he told the students at Spelman College, or in the entire Atlanta University college system down there one day, I happened to be in the audience, that their salvation lies in the NAACP with Thurgood Marshall, Roy Wilkins, and Martin Luther King. I heard him tell them that with my own ears. And since he's Kennedy's advisor, I imagine he was speaking for President Kennedy. So naturally the students challenged him and tore his head up when he said that, because he made the mistake at the same time of attacking the Muslims. And you can't go too many places today and attack the Muslims and come out on top. Black people are too wise for that. So Mr. Muhammad teaches us the type of solution that Reverend Martin Luther King and his cohorts are asking actually boils down to slavery. All they are saying is the black people here want love and recognition. They say all we want is to be recognized. That's what they're saying. Just recognize us as your equals. Why, good God, how are you going to be equal without any land? You just a recognized slave. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says it's better to be independent than dependent. And the only way we can do that is to separate, have our own land, build something for ourselves, and in this way we can then be independent. Here in America, black people have knots on their head that the white man has put on their head. They got not only knots on their head, they got knots in their head that have been put there by the white man. And now here this other leadership, I call it bourgeoisie leadership, has house Negro leadership, has you and me begging the man that put these knots on our head, can we integrate with it? Now, if you saw a sheep that had been snatched by a wolf away from the flock and taken into the wolf's den and mangled, mutilated, and you came to help that sheep, could you help it by teaching it to stay in that wolf's den and integrate with the puppies? That's insane. And if it's insane for some sheep to try and integrate with the puppies produced by the wolf that kidnapped the sheep from their original herd or flock and took them into the wolf's den, if that's insane to teach integration in that sense, it's just as much insane to teach black people here in America today, the offspring of those black people who were kidnapped from Africa 400 years ago by the white man. Now, it would take a wolf, a white wolf, to go into our homeland and kidnap us and bring us 9,000 miles away and strip us of our identity and knowledge to the fact that today, instead of thinking that we're sheep, we think we're the same as a wolf, and we're running around in the wolf's den telling him, I'm the same as you. How can a sheep be the same as a wolf? Whenever an enemy is after you and is trying to put knots on your head and he's chasing you, you don't feel safe until you get home inside the door and lock the door. Is that right or wrong? You can't deny that and stay intelligent. You don't feel safe until you get inside your door and lock that door. Then you sit down and because you're home. Is that right? same way when you got your own country. When you're in a country and getting nuts on your head, you're getting Jim Crow, segregated, abused, ridiculed, scorned, persecuted, and every other kind of atrocity imaginable. You can never relax or feel safe until you get in your own country. Then when you get into your own country, you can lock your door, and you can let into your country whom you want, and keep out of your country whom you want. Is that right or wrong? See, so we look upon these other movements as a begging movement. I have nothing against King other than he's a beggar. He's a beggar. Sorry, he's a beggar. Not only is he begging the white man to be recognized, but he's begging our people to turn the other cheek. Pray for those who use you despitefully. Suffer peacefully. Why, that's insane. You see a man down there suffering peacefully, that man's insane. You see a man praying for someone who has kidnapped him and lynched him and made a slave out of him, I say he's insane. Insanity. That's not religion, that's insanity. America didn't pray for the Japanese when they bombed Pearl Harbor. America didn't turn the other cheek when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. America didn't forgive her enemies. She said what? Praise the Lord, but pass the ammunition. But she tells you to forget. Forget all what she has done to you and forgive. You could never forgive the white man unless you could forget him. You can't forget him, you can't forgive him as long as you remember what he has done. And he knows this. So he teaches you to forget. Forget Emmett Till. Forget Nat Parker. Forget what I did to you all these years. Let's let bygones be bygones. They don't tell their children that. They say, remember Pearl Harbor. Why, they even say, remember the Alamo. What you talking about? But you're running around here like a fool, trying to forget what the wolf has done to you. You even want to forget that that's a wolf, and make believe that either you're a wolf like it is, or it is a sheep like you are, and you can't make a wolf be a sheep and a sheep be a wolf. Only God can do it. He'll pull all the teeth that the wolf has got and take out his claws. Then when he bite at you, he can only gum you. Secondly, brothers and sisters, I should say lastly, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that 20 million black people here in America now comprise a nation within a nation. And since you and I are a nation within a nation, we should have a land of our own. No independent country will recognize a subjected country. If you are subject, for instance, the Nigerians couldn't get a voice in the United Nations. They weren't recognized as a nation until they got the white man off their back. The Ghana wasn't recognized as a nation until they got the white man off their back. The Congolese weren't recognized as a nation until they got the white man off their back. Throughout Africa today, our brothers are telling the white man, get off my back, or else I'll get on your head. But an independent country will recognize a country that has subjected you. So what you must do today is get your independence. The same as this country got its independence when it was colonized by England. You and I have been colonized by this country for the past almost 400 years. We've been colonized. We're still colonized. We're as much colonized today as any country in Africa. But you are mentally colonized. You're colonized and don't know it. What is a second-class citizen but a colonial subject? You have no rights. You're a colonial brother. But America is more shrewd and more tricky than the other white colonial powers in Europe, And she's got this Negro running around thinking that Lincoln issued some kind of Emancipation Proclamation that was supposed to have set him free, and he's still on his hands and knees knocking at the White House door begging for civil rights. How dumb can you get? You can't get any dumber than your leader. And as long as your leaders won't tell you this, then you have to remain a second-class citizen. As the book says, when the blind leads the blind, they'll both fall into a ditch. I would like to point out some of the things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says. The solution to this: we must unite, we must secure some land of our own, and we must produce the needs and the necessities of our people. And number two, he teaches us that we must buy from our own kind until we're able to produce something for ourselves. If every one of you is sitting in here right now, decided that you were going to do all of your shopping in a black grocery store, why, that black man in that store would get so much business tomorrow he'd have to put up a supermarket a square block, just from your patronage alone. And then when he put up that supermarket, he'd have to give jobs to about 100 people. Well, meaning just by channeling your nickels and dimes, you're making jobs for your own kind. And when you walk inside somebody else's store, you're making jobs for their kind. Go in the Japanese neighborhood, you don't find Negro stores. Go into Chinatown, you don't find Negro stores. Go in Jewtown, you don't find Negro stores. But come up here in Blacktown, every kind of store is up here but yours. Is that right or wrong? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that if Africa and others abroad are putting the white man out and trying to do something for themselves today, we here in America should do the same thing. And if the Africans, whom you and I have been taught are savages in the jungle, and you and I have been taught that we got education, we're civilized because we got the white man's education, how in the world is this little savage over there in the jungle going to get an independent country for himself today and get the white man off his back? You talk about he got a white monkey on his back, but you got a white gorilla on your back. And if he's turning loose his load, you should turn loose your load. If he's kicking his habit, you should kick your habit. Now, if all of Africa is doing this, and you have Negroes in America here today who think that you and I can't do it, then that man is too lazy to be allowed to live. He's a traitor to his own kind. And the only reward for traitors is death. In China they did it. When Chinese took over China, they put to death all those Uncle Tom Chinamen. Put them to death, right. Wiped them out. And as soon as she got rid of all those Uncle Tom Chinamen, now she's so bad they're afraid to even let her in the UN. Won't even let her in the back door, much less the front door. So this is the same thing you need. When you find an old Uncle Tom standing up, tell him to sit down. Tell him Uncle Tom's days are over. His role is all played out. Do you understand that? There are 4 points that Mr. Muhammad stressed before the television camera, which was the charge of black supremacy, the charges about the prison, the unorthodox Islam, and violence. And he pointed these things out, that he doesn't teach black supremacy, but he teaches just as the white man has ruled, it's time now for the black man to rule. When the white man was ruling, the white man was supreme. Now it's time for the black man to rule. And when since the day has come that it's time for the black man to rule, the white man with his heavy propaganda guns labels that as black supremacy teaching. And if you don't want black supremacy, if you don't want to see a black man rule something sometime, then you don't belong on this planet. You don't belong on this planet. And the time is coming when we will weed you out just like you weed a garden. Anytime you find weeds in your garden and they're strangling the plants that you intend to harvest a crop from, and those weeds don't belong there, you uproot them. This is necessary to be done among people all over the earth who are fighting for freedom. Those Uncle Toms in your midst are like weeds. They will strangle you in your community. They never have anything to offer other than strangulation. When you want to stand up and take a stand against oppression, they stand up and try and show you where you shouldn't do it now. Well, that's a weed, brother, and he needs to be plucked up out of the community. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said over the radio and over the television, and the white reporters, they didn't resent it. They knew that the black man is coming into power, while you haven't got a white man on this earth who won't admit to you that the black man is coming into his own. If everybody else has rule, don't you think the time will come when God will make you rule? And and only God can make you rule because you don't want to. You're the only people on earth. All praise is due to Allah. You're the only people on earth who don't want to rule. You don't think that you should rule. I just want to be equal. So it is not black supremacy in the sense that it is depicted by the propaganda guns of the white press, but rather it's that the black man's time has come to rule himself. He's ruling in the Congo. He didn't rule in the Congo yesterday. He's ruling in Ghana. He's ruling in Sudan. He's ruling in Chad. He's about to rule in Tanganyika and in Kenya. He's going to rule in South Africa. It might take a sea of blood, but he's going to rule. He likewise is going to rule. We here ourselves are going to rule on some land of our own. Concerning, just as sure as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, you will live to see God give the black man here in America some territory of his own on which he can set up his own government and do something for himself and his people. Praise is due to Allah. I would like to point out, too, concerning to show you the power of the white man's propaganda here on the West Coast and across the country. Recently, they had some riots in the prisons around here. And immediately they blew it up in the paper that these riots were caused by Muslims, black Muslims. I'm glad I'm a black. The best two words you can call me is a black Muslim. I'm proud of being black and proud of being a Muslim. Hold it a moment. Now, some of you might say, well, how are you going to call yourself black as light as you are? I was on a radio program in Philadelphia one night, and this white man made the mistake of asking me the same thing. Anytime you find white people, no matter how dark they are, some Italians are darker than we are. Some Greeks are likewise. Some French are also. No matter how dark a white man is, he always will tell you he's a white man. Is that right or wrong? Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And no matter how light a black man is, he's always a black man. Do you understand that? If you can't pass the cracker test in Mississippi, you're a black man. We who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad classify everyone on this earth who is not white as members of the black nation. Japanese are members of the black nation. Mexicans are members of the black nation. Chinese are members of the black nation. All of your Asians and Africans are of the black nation. We are the majority, not the minority. You're only a minority when you call yourself a Negro. But when you realize you're not a Negro, all praise is due to Allah. Right after this thing took place in the prisons, the Attorney General Stanley Mosk was designated to investigate it, and his investigation pointed out or brought out the fact that the Muslims were in no way responsible for that race riot, but that it was started by white inmates who resented other Negroes coming into areas in the dining hall set aside for white inmates only. And it was this resentment on the part of white inmates against these black inmates that were intruding into their lily white area that set off the race riot. But you haven't seen any of their papers correct it. They libel us in headlines, and then they put the truth on the want ad section. But the only way you can get the truth in this city is by reading the Los Angeles Herald-Dispatch. And in New York, when the white man made the mistake of putting in his paper that it was the Muslims who were responsible for the riot in the United Nations, right at the present time we are suing the New York Journal-American for $6 million and the New York World Telegram for $3 million. And Adlai Stevenson and Police Commissioner Kennedy, all of them in the same lump, are being sued for opening up their white mouth and talking too fast. We just collected $75,000 from the city of New York, cash, because a white policeman made the mistake of putting his hands on a black Muslim. So the city had to pay us $75,000. And I think that was a small price for them to pay. We went to court to get justice. But if we don't get justice in court, we're still seeking justice. We seek it wherever it can be found. And justice is, as you sow, so shall you reap. If you tell me if I come home and find my little baby girl with blood running down her leg, and someone tells me that a snake has bitten her, the first thing I'm going to do is get my hatchet and look for the snake. And when I see a snake, I'm not going to look and see does it have blood on its jaws. I don't need any evidence. If that's a snake, all I know is a snake bit my child. That's justice. Now, if the snake that didn't do the biting doesn't want to lose his head, stop the other snakes from getting out of line. A couple years ago, they used to always, and they do it right now, in having an excuse to deprive the Muslims in prison of the Holy Quran. And the Holy Quran is the Bible of Islam. It's a book which is read by 725 million people in the dark world. It's the Bible of the dark world, the Quran. And the white authorities, to have an excuse not to let these black inmates have their Bible, they'll give you a Christian Bible. They put one in your living room, in your bedroom, in your bathroom, in your attic. Why, you can just get them all around. It's true. But they put you in the lecture chair and give you a Bible. The white man is never afraid for you to have his Bible, because he knows you're not going to do nothing but be another slave. But when you get a hold of your own Bible, you're going to look in there and read where it says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Anytime your slave master gives you a Bible and you read in there where it says, pray for those who despitefully use you, why, he's giving you something that's going to make you nothing but a good slave. Because he's the one that's using you despitefully. You should pray for your enemy, but you must first know how to pray. You don't pray that your enemy is blessed, period. You pray that your enemy it gets justice. That's how you pray. You pray like Moses. Hold it. You pray. That's what Jesus meant. That's what Jesus meant. Pray for your enemy. Pray for those that use you despitefully. But pray how? Pray that he continues to use you despitefully? Pray that he continues to abuse you? No, that's not what Jesus meant. He meant pray for him. Pray that God comes and gets him. That's what you do. We pray for our enemy. We pray that the airplanes of the man who made a slave out of us crash with him in it. This is the type of prayer you pray. You pray for the death and the destruction and calamity for your enemy. There is no man can find fault with a prayer like that. Right? David prayed for that God would come and destroy his enemies. Every man in that Bible prayed that God would come and destroy their enemies. And this Negro preacher got you like a fool on your knees praying that God will forgive your enemy. What kind of prayer is that? We will follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, pray like Moses prayed. Moses prayed that plagues would strike his slave master. Moses prayed that water would be where it used to be a desert, and that where it used to be wet and thorough, God would make it a desert. Moses prayed for a disease to plague him, and we pray the same way, that he gets cancer, that he gets polio, that he gets heart disease. Let's understand. We pray for our God to strike him with tornadoes, tear him up. We have no weapons to fight him with. And since we don't have any weapons to fight him with, and if God is on our side, let God step forth today and fight our battle for us. Brothers and sisters, if the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was here this evening, he would tell you that God is after the white man. God is after the white man for the evils he's done to you and me. God is after the white man to reward him as he has rewarded you and me. As the Bible says, he that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. As the Bible says, his own Bible says, he that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Today, when the white man's airplanes fall out of the sky, that's the hand of God. Today, when tornadoes strike white America, that's the hand of God. Today, when you read about the floods that are wiping out the white man today, that's the hand of God. Today, when you see his buildings catch on fire with his little white babies and his mother in there, that's the hand of God. I'm here to tell you this. When you see this white man today falling at the roadside with cancer, that's God striking him with the death plague. When his heart stops beating and he dies in his tracks, that's God showing him that no matter how powerful he is, that there is a God in heaven who's on the side of the black man in America here today. That's a good God. Kind of God to have. I don't want any God that's going to ask me to forgive my enemy. Well, I'll point a rifle at God and see what he'll do about it. What you talking about? Any one of these Negro preachers who start telling you about turn the other cheek, smack him in his mouth. Catch him off guard. And I'll guarantee you he'll come back swinging. And if he's not going to turn the other cheek, don't you be a fool and turn the other cheek. So, brothers and sisters, don't say that you're making progress because you're only getting a knot on your head every now and then, where you used to get them every day. If you put a man in prison, unjustly, you frame him and put him in prison. And when he gets behind those bars, the warden places him in solitary confinement because he has been convicted of an atrocious crime. Finally, when you let that man out of solitary confinement because you hear he's not guilty, but you keep him in prison, he's not making progress. Just because he was in solitary and now he's out and he's still in prison. He wasn't not only put in solitary confinement illegally, he was imprisoned illegally. And you haven't done that man any favors even if you let him out, because you didn't do him a favor by putting him in there in the first place. And when this black man here in America, who was kidnapped by the white man, brought here and stripped of your identity, even your ability to speak your mother tongue, not even your ability to speak your mother tongue, but you don't even know what it was. A crime was committed against you. You were deprived of not civil rights, human rights. You weren't even classified as a human being. The Constitution itself classifies you as 3/5 of a human being, subhuman, like an animal. That's a crime. Today the criminal is standing up. He says, I repent. I'm sorry what I did to y'all. That's what he says. And this poor Negro, he's so blind and intoxicated, he says, yes, boss, we forgive you. He says, I'm going to make amends now, and we'll integrate everybody by and by. That's not any kind of repentance. When a man has committed a crime, he goes to court and confesses his crime. He says, I'm guilty, Judge. I did thus and so. He doesn't tell the judge what to do. He just confesses his crime. He can't tell the judge the solution or the price or the penalty. Not if he really repents. If he has repented, he doesn't do anything but confess his faults. And he leaves it up on the judge to tell him what price he must pay for this crime. Even the man who was his victim can't set the penalty. The victim has no say-so. He can come to the judge and say, well, Your Honor, the man, he treated me wrong, but he's changed. He can be a witness for the criminal. He can come up and try and defend him, but he can't set the penalty. No man can pass sentence but the judge. And this is the way it is with the white man today. The white man can't tell you that he's going to give you integration, and that's going to be it. The white man committed a crime. He's a criminal in the sight of God. And in the sight of God today, the white man stands guilty of kidnapping a nation of people, of stripping them and robbing them of everything it takes to be a human being, depriving them of justice, freedom, and equality. And this crook, this kidnapper, this robber, this murderer who lynched black people at will is standing before the court of justice today. God is judging him. But the man that he is his victim is too blind to see that God is the one that's judging. And the white man can't set integration as the solution. This is God's problem. God's hand is in this. God is the one that's causing the white man unemployment situation. God is the one that's causing gold to leave the country. God is the one that's closing the white man's factories down. It's God today that has allowed some other country to beat the white man in America up into the space. God is behind. God is embarrassing him. God is bringing him to his knees, making him cry like a baby and look like a fool and a chump before the entire world. Do you understand? It's not you that's doing it. It's God that's doing it. Not Jesus. It's God that's doing it. If Jesus was going to do it, he'd have done it a long time ago. He waited too long. So God is doing it now. We want you to understand that. Everything the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, he's teaching you what God told him. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that the black man must separate himself, that's not Mr. Muhammad talking. That's God talking. God has told him that, just like God told Moses, it's time for his people to separate from their slave master. God has told Mr. Muhammad, who is the modern Moses, it's time for you and me, modern Hebrews or modern slaves, to separate from our slave master. And just as it was Moses' job to lead his people to a land of their own, where they could serve their own God, not the slave master's blue-eyed God, today it's the job of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to lead us to a land of our own, flowing with milk and honey, where we can serve our own God, not the blue-eyed God of our slave master. Do you understand that? And since God wants to separate us and you don't believe it, God is going to bring the white man right down to his knees and make him let you go. The white man won't have no peace as long as you're in his house. God won't let him have any peace. Just like God didn't let Pharaoh have any peace as long as those slaves were there. God will not let white America have peace as long as you're trying to integrate and cuddle up under your master's table. He's going to get, you've been waiting for the crumbs to fall off his table. God's going to take the white man's bread away. And the only reason you found him because you're looking for some crumbs, and when you find out he has no more crumbs or no more bread to give you, you'll turn him loose like a hot potato. So, beloved brothers and sisters, I'm sorry that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not able to be here this evening, and I hope and pray Allah that I have not misrepresented him. I hope that I have given you a good picture, clear picture of what his demands are in front of this government and in front of his people here today, and I hope you get a good understanding of this. And the next time you hear that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad will be in Los Angeles, he'll be here. He was here this time. You saw him on the television. He gave the press conferences and whatnot, but he was not able to be out here tonight because of reasons of health. And I thank Allah that he did not come out, because those of us who know him and understand him, we love him, and we know what value he is to us, and we do not want to see him in any way endanger his health at any time. So I thank you for your kind attention. And at this time, if there are any of you who would like to ask questions concerning what you heard Mr. Muhammad say on the television, or what you have heard me say here tonight, or Minister John say here tonight, you may feel free now at this time. We got about 10 minutes, during which time we will get our questions straightened out. I would like to say that I know it causes a lot of confusion, and I very much hate to do it, but since time is the essence, those of you who are here, you know that we couldn't get this place without some kind of overhead, and the only way we'll take it up or clear it is with your help. So we're going to have a collection taken up, and we hope and pray Allah that those of you who see the good work that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is doing will contribute to this cause. We're going to have a 10-minute question period. Don't take paper out of your pocket, and then that won't make too much noise when you're putting it inside the basket. We love art, you know, photography, and there's a good picture of Washington and Lincoln and Grant on a green frame in your pocket, in your wallet, so you can put those inside the, and every Muslim, we ask every Muslim in here, don't put less than $1 in that basket. If you have, don't put less than $1 in there, because I would not like to come here and leave here knowing that the local Muslims had an overhead that they were not able to carry. And as black people, you and I shouldn't, if what you heard is worth $1 million, I tell you, some of y'all, you go inside the lodge, you pay to get inside the lodge, and you don't learn as much in there, you don't get as much light in there, and all the degrees that you get as you will listening to that which is being taught here in America today by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, at this time, if you can be very quiet, please don't go. We're going to let you go in 10 minutes, because I have to be gone myself. Those of you who have questions, you may stand at this time and state your question. I would say that you would please be very, very quiet. No matter what you're doing, be very, very quiet. Yes, ma'am. What part of the United States is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asking for? I've never heard Mr. Muhammad specify or designate any particular part, geographic area in the United States. And I did hear him tell the reporters that he would tell the government when the government approaches him. When the government sends its officials to him to ask him where does he want, then he will tell them at that time. I have heard him say he doesn't want to be out on the desert. Yes, ma'am. Pardon me? Pardon me? Yes. What? Sister, if I have seen my brother or my cousin or my second cousin or my third cousin snatched from a wolf, from a sheep herd by a wolf, whenever I see a wolf from then on, whether I see that wolf snatching sheep or not, it's still a wolf. We draw a complete line between white and black. White on one side and black on the other side. And we're not the first ones to do this, because the white man did it. The white man was the first one to draw the line. What he's angry about today, now, is that we're drawing the line. And when we draw, he don't like to see nobody draw lines but himself. As long as he's drawing the line, everything is all right. But when you start, let me just say this. The reason he's so indignant, you have intoxicated the white man. Negroes have just asked the white man, please, boss, let me be around you. what that has done, it has given the white man a false sense of importance. You have wallowed at his feet for so long, begging to live in his neighborhood and begging to be his friend or be recognized by him, that it has made him think that he's more than what he is. Now when the black Muslims come along and say, we don't even want to get around you, why, that deflates him overnight. Like a balloon, his bubble bursts. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't hear you. Do I think we should be what? We shouldn't associate with white people? What do you mean by antisocial? We who are Muslims, we have businesses, and because we try to make jobs for ourselves, we have customers who come in there. There are customers. We have sometime our house catches on fire. When the fireman comes, he's white. Some of us work for white people. That kind of exchange takes place. But to go and sit in his house and be his friend, why, I can't see myself sitting in a den of wolves, calling myself socializing, and they don't like it, and I don't like it. No, we don't socialize with them. We get along with them, but we don't socialize with them. We don't take them for friends. Pardon me? Is it true that the Muslims dislike light-skinned, so-called Negro? Look at me. Only time I'm glad I'm light is when I run into questions like that. But I'll tell you, I will tell you, ma'am, that a white man raped my grandmother. This is how I got this complexion. Now, understand. Please understand. Don't be patting up the skin off your hand, because my time is more limited than yours, and I got to catch something. I would like to point this out, that when I was a Christian, I was proud that I was light. That's what they teach you. The lighter you are, they say if you're light, you're right. No, if you're white, you're right. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, stick around. But if you're black, get back. That's what Christians teach you. See? After I became a Muslim, I hate every drop of that man's blood who raped my grandmother. And rather than to run around here, some of you all call yourself light, bragging about some granddaddy of yours that was a Scotchman. You got no business bragging about that. Please don't, just a minute. Well, you don't clap for a minute, because what you're doing is admitting that either some cracker raped your grandmother or she committed adultery with him. Please don't clap. They didn't get married. There was no marriage. There was that kind of action that took place during slavery time. And you shouldn't be running around bragging about it. You should forget it. Go for all that black blood that you got and forget that little drop of white blood. Today, that black blood will save your soul, and that white blood will make you lose your soul. Yes, ma'am. You're finished? Yes, ma'am. Yep. No, you got one question is enough, ma'am, and you've already asked me 5. Yes, ma'am. Would I say that the American so-called Negro has been brainwashed? When you watch something over and over and over and over, no matter how dark it was, it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And this is what has happened to the black man's mind in America. He has been washed in the white man's educational system. And usually you find the Negroes who are the most educated are the most white-minded. And they'll stand up with their education, and instead of using it to elevate black mankind, they'll try and stand up and justify what the white man has done and show you where you should have a few white friends. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Right. Yes. Why, they'll shoot you. They'll think you're unpatriotic. Right, I know that. But Mr. Muhammad is changing all of that. Yes, sir, on this side. Oh, this brother right here. Why do I use the word Negro? We say so-called Negro. Afro-American, here's why. One of the reasons that I always say so-called Negro is when I use it, people will ask me, why do you say so-called Negro? And it gives me a chance to teach them why they aren't really a Negro. That's why I use it. Always I'm questioning about it. But I still wouldn't call myself an Afro-American. I'm an African. I got nothing to do with it being an American. How am I gonna call myself an American? Any kind of an American. Any kind. Tell me one reason why I should call myself an American. Because I'm born here. A cat can be born in have kittens in an oven. You don't call them biscuits. You know what I mean? African, okay, but not African American. An Irish American is a citizen. A German American is a citizen. A French American is a citizen. Now, when I say I'm Afro-American, I'm still trying to pretend I'm a citizen. No, I'm an African here in America. An African who comes here to go to school, he don't call himself an African American because he's here for school. He's just he's here temporarily. But that one that's calling himself an Irish American, he plans to stay here. Now, I don't plan to stay here, brother. Not unless they give me part of this country. Yes, ma'am. And so how we using? What evil are we using? Well, ma'am, no, please, be cool, calm, and collected. No. Well, yeah, this is what the white man has taught us. Have a mind of our own. And we're so busy having a mind of our own, we're divided like the water going out of a wide-nosed faucet. Not going anywhere, but just plunk. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying this, that if we must recognize that a crime has been committed, we must recognize that an atrocity has been committed. We must recognize that it is still being committed because Negroes are too polite to do what is necessary to bring it to a halt. So if being polite won't get the job done, then we need to lose that politeness and get rough. But ma'am, what has kept him divided? The snake has kept him divided. When you throw a snake in a chicken yard, everything goes helter-skelter. You throw a snake in a barnyard, everything goes helter-skelter. Sometimes you have to become a snake yourself to find the snake. Pardon me, ma'am, I would like to. But why? No, you're dealing with the. No, you're dealing with the condition, but you're trying to blind yourself to the cause. If I find a man that is suffering of snake bite, he's in bad shape. That's his condition. But what caused it? What is the cause? If you say that the Negro in America, number one, he's mentally sick. When a man is suffering from loss of identity, that's called amnesia. It's a mental sickness. If a man is serving someone else's God, that's a spiritual sickness. When a man is has been stripped of his knowledge of history and things of that sort, all these are sicknesses. When a man is born in a country and still does not even have the rights of citizenship, that's a political sickness. Just a moment. When a man is ostracized from society, that's a social sickness. When a man is the last hired and the first fired, that's an economic sickness. Now here you find black people collectively are suffering from all of these sicknesses. This is the condition. But what is the cause?
Because they have not united.
That's a condition. That's a condition. That's a condition. All right, now, who has united? Jews have united because Jews have organizations for Jews. Negroes haven't united because they got organizations in which they take white people. Sit down. I don't want to be, ma'am. I don't want to be impolite to you, but no, she has the right to say what she wants. And I tell you, one thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad insists upon is that we respect our women. Right, and I respect your sister and I love you because you're not white. Mr. Muhammad teaches us that you're the mother of civilization, and we're going to set you back on top of everything whether you want to be put there or not. Yes, sir. Wait a minute. Right. What are you getting at? What's your question? No, the system that we are in has not taken care of our needs. Sir? The condition that he's in and the position that he's in makes it so that he has no alternative. When Moses was in front of Pharaoh, Moses had nothing. But he was telling Pharaoh that God had sent him for these people. And Moses looked like he was crazy to ask big old powerful government to turn these people loose. But yet, God was with Moses. And where the Negroes make their mistake in judging what Mr. Muhammad is doing, you think he's doing it on his own. It's a religious doing. It is God that has told him to do it. And he told him to do it for this reason. He's going to use this method to prove that he's God. Why do you know Jehovah? Why, you never heard of Jehovah until he took Moses and the Hebrews out of Egypt. Well, it's the same way with Allah. You won't know Allah until he brings the white man to his knees and sets you into some land of your own. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm telling you in front of the white man. We got him here, running the thing. What are you talking about? Does Mr. Muhammad say it on the television? The government heard him. They didn't have any argument. What you going to argue about? How's the slave going to argue when the master don't argue? Yes, sir. I know it, brother. I don't mean you. You're my brother. How you going to argue? No. You're my brother, sir, and I answered your question, and I know you're not arguing. Well, I'm telling you, sir, that just as Moses freed his people and there was no opposition, he did it successfully. Today, Mr. Muhammad will do the same thing. We're relying on God, not politicians. God is going to do it. And this is the thing I want to make clear. We are just as much religious in our belief that God is going to give us a land of our own as you religiously believe God led Moses through the Red Sea. Just as much as you believe that God did it 4,000 years ago for Moses, we who follow Mr. Muhammad absolutely believe that God is going to lead us and those who follow him right out of this man's hand into some land of our own. Take that or leave it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The rotten tree. The rotten tree. Where upstairs? Right. Sir? Sir? If there's time for them to change, you give them time to change. There's no time for America to change. And if you were born in America, you'd know it. Right. They'll separate. Those who married whites will separate from those whites. Wait a minute, I'm giving you your answer. We have situations across the country where Negroes have made the mistake of marrying into that same family of wolves that kidnapped them and brought them here. As soon as they hear what we teach, they separate. We got a brother in New York, he had a white wife, he come home and he said, I didn't know you was the devil. She said, you didn't know it? He got rid of her, and now he's got a black wife, and he's got some black children, and they're living happily ever after. We have not, sir? We have never seen any white lady who accepted the Muslim religion. When we run into a situation like that, then we'll reach the decision. But we have not ever met any white ladies who have accepted the Muslim religion. We are in a country, just a minute, sir. We are in a country where to which we were, after being kidnapped, we were brought. When King Saud came to this country, the propaganda system of this government propagandized and depicted him as a slave master and as a slaveholder. And the only ones who come to his defense were the followers of Mr. Muhammad. So if I were you, I would keep that in my mind and sit down. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir? Sir? Some of the bad points of the NAACP, I would rather tell you it's good points. It's fighting a battle for the so-called Negro, and I think that everybody should be given credit for what they're doing. They think that they're doing it the right way. The bad point is that you got a white president, and I don't never see how a black body with a white head can get anywhere. I just can't see that. Yes, sir. No, because of this. Even the worst critics of Mr. Muhammad admit that when the so-called Negroes, who were the worst drunkards and the worst thieves, the worst type characters, become followers of his, immediately they're reformed. Some of the most critical works that have been written about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad absolutely are forced to admit that the reformation, the moral reformation that takes place among these people is amazing. They can't understand it. And when I was in Arabia, the brother's country, the Arabs over there admitted to me that the followers of Mr. Muhammad lead a better Muslim life than they do. Right. You wouldn't have this. When you're among brothers, you have no trouble. Only when that snake is in there, when you have trouble. Now, brothers and sisters, I have to beg your pardon, but I have a plane to catch, and I got to catch it in a matter of minutes, and I don't have time for 1 minute longer, so I'm going to turn the meeting into Minister John's hands to close. Please don't go until he dismisses you. But I thank Allah for your presence here this evening. I thank you for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I hope that those of you who didn't thoroughly understand when you hear that Mr. Muhammad is coming to California, that you will be out here to greet him and honor him, and God will bless you. I thank you in the name of Allah and His Messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I now turn you into the hands of Minister John. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. Yeah, they couldn't make it. Stand on the head.